Hello, my name's David and we're going to be talking about SailGP in Bermuda. Australia are on a high from Rio and their co-owner joins them in Bermuda. Ryan Reynolds jumps on the F50 for a practice race and is in awe about the speed and the G-force of these boats, and he can't stop smiling. Artemis hear a loud noise on their boat and something breaks, and this keeps them out of the first day of the event. And on the French boat, poor old Glenn Ashby, he crosses from one side of the boat to the other and breaks his leg. In an interview afterwards, he's so matter of fact it makes you laugh. Right, let's have a look at the event and see where people ended up. And in no particular order, we'll start with the Swiss. They were 10th, 8th, 4th and 6th on the first day. And on day 2, they were 7th, 2nd, 6th. And on race 1, they started beside Spain and Australia. But they were on the outside and had 4 boats on the inside, coming up to gate 2. They were on the outside of Los Galos, and they didn't duck in behind them, and they received a boundary penalty and dropped back to 9th. By the time they finished the race, they were in 10th place. Red Bull Italy is 6th, 10th, 9th and 2nd. And day 2, 6th, 7th and 7th. In race 4, they started on the inside of the first mark and were in front of the Australians. Unfortunately, there was a slight wind shift which caught them out at the mark, and they were doing 46 kilometres an hour on the turn, whilst the Australians were doing 74 kilometres an hour. They didn't lose first place at that precise time, but as being on the slower part of the course, the Australians took that first place. Rockwool Racing were 7th, 3rd, 10th, 9th. And on day 2 they were 11th, 6th and 11th. On race 1, Rockwool Racing had a great run to the first mark, and they started in behind Canada and US. It was a perfect day for racing, and they didn't do anything particularly wrong, but they just seemed to be dropping back all the time, and they finished in 7th place. Brazil, on day 1 they were 11th, 9th, 6th and 11th. And on day 2 they were 6th, 11th and 12th. After the first race, Brazil looked like they were going to have a progressive day. But in race 4, Los Galos crossed in front of them and put them in a bad position for the mark. As they turned, they fell off the foils, so they dropped places and fell back into the fleet. Day 2, they didn't improve. France. They had a 9th on day 1. The 13th and 12th was where they were trying to find a new crew member. Race 4 they had 10th. And on race day 2 they were 3rd, 3rd and 8th. So the new crew member, David Gilmore, had his first full day of racing on day 2. So they had some good results, but a bit of a disappointing event. Artemis. They didn't compete on day 1, and on day 2 they were 4th and 10th. Unfortunately, due to that issue on the boat, they didn't compete at all on day 1. And on day 2, they didn't do too bad. In race 6, Artemis rounded the mark and were in 4th. Canada decided to turn in front of them, and unfortunately it went wrong for the Canadians. But for Artemis, they kept it falling and kept that 4th place. Next up, Canada. So on the first day it all looked like it was going well, and in the first race they were 2nd. Race 3, however, it was very tight on the line, and Canada just squeezed through with Italy and Germany, whereas Denmark had to duck out because there was no room at the line. The umpire wasn't impressed and gave all 3 start penalty. Canada went wide with Germany and Italy, and by the first mark they were now in 9th place. But they recovered well and finished the race in 5th. Day 2, yeah, let's not talk about that. Emirates GBR day 1 were 5th, 7th, 8th and 5th, and on day 2 were 5th, 8th and 5th. Race 6, GBR suffered from bad positioning and he didn't start very well, and he didn't gain ground through the race, but at the last mark at the finish, towards the finish line, they managed to hold back Los Galos and US SailGP to hold the 8th place. US SailGP team, day 1, 1st, 5th, 7th, 3rd, and day 2, 5th, 8th and a 9th. In race 1, they raced so well and it was so impressive, and points wise they were 5th on the scoreboard after day 1. Unfortunately, they made it difficult for themselves on day 2 and missed out on that final again. Spain's full race results are 4th, 3rd, 1st, 4th, and day 2, 1st, 9th and 3rd. Day 1 was overall a good day for Spain, and on day 2 in race 5 they were so quick at the top of the line, they were metres in front by the first mark, and at gate 2 they were 10 seconds in front of the second boat, and they won the race deservedly. Germany's full race results are 3rd, 6th, 3rd, 7th, and on day 2, 9th, 5th and 1st. Germany had a good event overall, and with 2 top 3 finishes on day 1. In race 7 on day 2, they excelled themselves, had a great start and were out in front, and they kept it fast and furious all through the race and finished in 1st and qualified for the final. Australia's results are 8th, 1st, 2nd and 1st, and in day 2 they were 2nd, 3rd and 1st. In race 1 they started okay, but they were on the outside of Germany and GBR, so they were in 6th place. They done a few good calls and got it up to 4th place, but when you're in this part of the fleet you have to keep your wits about you, and unfortunately they failed starboard Los Galos and had to serve a penalty, which made them fall back to 8th place. But that was their worst result of the event, and things could only get better, and they did. And having the top 3 positions out of 6 races, of course they qualified for the final. So in the final was Australia, Germany and Spain. At the rolling start, Australia and Spain were in good positions, and Australia were on the inside. Germany was slow off the mark. By gate 2, Australia were in 1st, Los Galos was in 2nd, and Germany was 11 seconds behind. Los Galos tried to outfox the Australians by doing several manoeuvres, but this just succeeded in slowing them down, and they nearly lost 2nd place. And at the last mark towards the finish line, Spain glided in front of the Germans and then finished in 2nd place. The Bonds Flying Roos won the final and now stretching their lead for the championship scoreboard. SailGP have organised 2 more events, Rome and Hong Kong, for 2027. So all things are looking good on the horizon for SailGP. New Zealand Black Foils are still repairing their boat, so they will not be competing in New York, but they're hoping to be in Halifax on the 20th of June, so fingers crossed. There's still that question about where the last 2 events will be held for the season finale. With some of the sailors enjoying last weekend's Louis Vuitton event in Sardinia, it will be a quick change from the AC-40's America's Cup boats to the F-50 catamarans of the SailGP. This shouldn't affect the sailors, as sailing fast boats is the same, right? Right, thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe or click the like button. In the next video we will be talking about the preliminary event in Sardinia. So goodbye for now.